All right, this is kind of a bonus, but kind of a not bonus. So, two things special about today's video is one, it's on a Wednesday. I just will not be doing this on Wednesdays very often, but I've been away for a while, and I'm in the mood, so we'll do this. Number two, I'm not wearing pajamas. This is going to be a rare thing. When I do my videos, I'm showered, I'm ready for bed, I'm in pajamas most of the time. And that is going to be regular. But right now, I'm having work is driving me a little crazy. Although I shouldn't let it. This is irrelevant to bourbon. It is. And I really just wanted to sit down and have some bourbon today. And I also wanted to sit down and communicate to people. So here I am doing both of those things. So I want to make a little point. So the last thing I did, I believe, I really should check this. Hold on. Yeah, so the last video that I did was oh, by the way, new fan in the computer. That's why you don't hear that whirring noise in the background. That fan was getting bad. I was not 100% sure it was the fan, but once I took the back off, it was pretty well confirmed. Yeah, it's a fan. So I got myself a new fan, and that whirring noise is going to be gone until this fan destroys itself. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. The last video I did, I was very stunned about the similarity in color and texture and everything with the two bourbons that my friend had given me. And I've actually, now that I've researched this on my own, just poured some bourbons into sample bottles like this, and I'm sort of right and sort of wrong in that actually a lot of bourbons are very similar in color, but those two were nearly identical. Anyway, this is I'm going to be sampling this today. This is the second bourbon that I got from my friend that I work with. This is Bardstown Wheated, original series, 106 proof, and I will be sampling that today. That's what we'll be talking about, mostly. I might even come back tomorrow and do a video, because I have something else I want to sample. But this is a Maker's Mark, right here. Maker's Mark 2024. This is part of their wood finishing series. If you've had their wood finishing series, the first 2 years of it, I can't remember if they came out with 1 or 2 a year. Can't remember what it was, but the first ones of these that I had were quite literally some of the best bourbons I've ever had. And since then, they've fallen off, in my opinion, but they're still very good. So that's this. I'm just going to give you a comparison of colors here in a second, but I also have, so I poured 2 different bourbons into sample bottles to see if those colors are much different from this one. And they're a little bit different. But anyway, this is also a New Riff single barrel. And this is something that you're not going to get this again. I found this while I was in Florida not that long ago. It is this is really good. 109.9 proof, 54%, and that is in this bottle. And when I compared them, I was pretty surprised to see that the colors of these two are very similar. You can't, because of the color in this room, you really can't see it, but one of them definitely has a little more red. One of them definitely has a little more gold. One of them's a little more transparent than the other one, but they're pretty damn close. That kind of surprised me. And when I compared them to this, it is kind of the same thing. And it's you're not in this room, and I'm just giving you what I can give you, but you can see that these are pretty close. This one is clearly more transparent, and this one is clearly a little more, we want to call that red or copper. I mean, it is, but there's not as much of a difference in color as I actually had thought, which kind of surprised me. Anyway, that's 5 minutes of your time wasted. So, let's do this. Let's dive into this. So again, this is something that a guy that I work with gave to me, and I'm bringing samples into work tomorrow, I hope, for 3 people, maybe 4. This is Bardstown Wheated, original series, 106 proof. I'm going to pour it in here. What I really should be doing when I'm going to sample, and by the way, my friend Scott did make a point to me, and I think he's probably right. I did not want to make this a bourbon sampling channel, but my buddy Scott thinks that sampling the bourbon gives more of a, makes you more engaged, makes me more engaged with you more engaged with me. So I think that I will probably try to sample something most weeks, although I might not always. I think Scott makes a good point there. Wow, that gets me on the nose. It's hard. I've talked about this before. It's hard anymore. Ooh, how's that voice? Because I've become so accustomed to it, it's hard for something to bite in my nose. And that one's giving me some nose bite. I like it. It's not a complaint. What I need to do is pull up my bourbon tasting wheel and all that kind of stuff so I can give you a really accurate sense of what I'm getting here. But this is a nice sweetness to it. It's very ethanol-y, and I love that. Let's give it a sample. Let's give it a taste. Just tell you what I think about it without giving you any sample, without giving you any flavors. It's incredibly smooth. I'm going to take you off on a little tangent here. So this past weekend, I was at a buddy's house, and my friend Scott had brought some George Stagg Jr. If you have not had George Stagg Jr., you are missing out. Now, I hate to tell anybody to go ahead and buy this if they see it, because it is ridiculously expensive. But I have had 3 different Stagg Juniors, and 2 of them, I would argue, have been some of the best bourbons I've ever had in my life, and I'm really liking the way this is sitting in my mouth. And the 3rd one was absolutely spectacular. I wouldn't say it's one of the best things I've ever had, but I have had 3 different Stagg Juniors, and they've all been absolutely incredible. The one that Scott brought this week was really hot, and the heat would just sit there. But God, it was just so good. It was so full of flavor. I wish I could remember more. I wish I had written stuff down, but it was just delicious, and I want more of it. But Stagg Jr., I think Scott found that bottle for $130. And I guess that's okay, because everything that I've seen from Stagg Jr. anymore has been around $200, if not over $200. And I can't afford $200 bottle of bourbon. Well, that's not exactly true. Okay, so the nose on this is really nice. Very ethanol-y. Nothing overpowering in it, right? I like, you can sense a sweetness. You can catch the wheat in there. It's interesting because when you first take it into your mouth and you swish it around in there, it's there's not a lot going on. But once you swallow, the finish is really good, really nice. It's not super sweet. Um, it's not the typical, like, I love vanillas and caramels, and you're not really getting that, but it's got a different kind of sweetness that I'm not quite sure how to describe. Maybe this is what people are talking about when they talk about a fruity sensation when they drink their bourbons. I've never That's been something that I've kind of missed. I hear people talk about it a lot, but I don't get it, and I wonder if this is what they mean. And I'm going to take another sip of this just to see if I think that's what people mean by fruity. I have never tasted bourbon and gone, "Hey, that's fruity." But I'm guessing that this is what people are talking about. So this is really good, very smooth, um, and the aftertaste, the finish, that's great. It's really long and it's sweet, but it's not all that powerful. So you first take it in. Do this one more time for y'all. This video is taking a little time, and I'm not saying a whole lot, but we're going to do it again. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. That first drink, and I know I already said this, but that first drink, you first take it in, there's just not a lot going on for me until you swallow and finish it. Then it's just beautiful. It changes its flavor, it goes back and forth. It's a little spicy, it's a little sweet. I really like this. It's really complex, and I like what's going on here. It's not something that it's not necessarily something that I would put as an upper. I'm not sure how to describe it to you because I really like what's going on here. But on the other hand, it's not really one of my favorite things because I want that whole flavor. I want to taste it early and late. But it's interesting. This is an interesting bourbon, and that's why I like it. So, I don't know. Kind of said a lot there without saying much. Kind of said not much and still said a lot. I don't know. Oh, this is a bad video. We're putting it out there anyway. Love y'all. I might see you tomorrow.